Can I get the representative of Miyetti Allah to respond to these allegations that have been made? He's somewhere here. Yes. So please, sir. And tell us who you are, please, so that just for the record.
Yeah, my name is Isa Idris. I'm an architect by profession. And 20 years ago, I was a headman. I used to move from one state to the other. But I was engaged to seek for education. And as a result, I'm an architect today. And I don't think somebody will now see me moving my cattle from one state to the other.
Yeah, but
so,
issues, yeah.
In response to what my brother has just said, first of all, I want to repute to completely say what he said about the chairman of Pt.6, Allah, whether they have taken responsibility of killing any soul in Benue State is not true. The Fulani Herdsmen, as far as I know, they are very peaceful people. They move around in search of green pasture across the country. That's why you see them speaking all languages. If they go to various communities, they understand their languages. In fact, some of them even intermarry. So I don't think and know anybody that is Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association has taken any responsibility of killing any soul, and we don't kill.
Let me talk about the elephant in the room that seems to be there, but that sometimes we never seem to address. And this is the historical distrust that seems to exist between what traditionally is called the House of Fulani and what are considered other minority groups in the north. Because when we traveled through Benue, and to a certain extent even in parts of Taraba, what was clear was that there was a deep-seated distrust between communities. And I'd like to try and understand the impact of that on what is going on from the point of view. I mean, sir, you're sitting in a unique position because you work for the federal government, but you are from Benue State yourself. And so maybe you can talk to us about this and what you think the impact has been on the ongoing conflict.
Well, very quickly, first, there's been some suggestion that the January event in Benue was packed off by the law which the state passed. I must say that the killings have preceded that. It could have been angry reaction that a law was passed, but that's not to say that killings didn't happen before, because Agatu took place and other things happened before then. The big problem here with governance is that long ago in school, I used to read two European philosophers who said something about black people, that we have a chronic incapacity to anticipate the future, that we live for the moment. If this crisis is over today, we forget it. And yet I know, in the next dry season to get worse, because the herdsman is looking for grass and water, and he wants to keep his cattle. Unless we find a way to redesign this, and what the Prof said earlier is true. Local governments in those days collected jangali tax from the herdsmen, and the herdsmen were willing to pay. And therefore conflicts were resolved, and so on. We haven't done much to prepare and organize this Department of Agriculture, which contributes 6% to GDP. Absolutely. We've done nothing, and as a result, the conflicts will go on. Of course, suspicions are there. Every word we utter is suspected. When I said, let's have cattle colonies, they said, it's colonization. It's used in biology to describe animal settlements. Bees, even gypsies in Europe are described as colony settlements of gypsies. The moment you say a word, the suspicion is everywhere. Religion gets in, tribe gets in, regions get in, and so on. And that is what keeps Africa from growing. Somebody needs to know. And I read a bit of history. Okay. Sultan Bello of Sokoto, 200 years ago, warned about this crisis we're having today, that someday this method of cattle rearing was going to create conflict.
Okay, and so let me ask this question, because again, like I said, our research shows that the conflict in Benue is slightly different from the conflict in Mambila. It's slightly different from the conflict in Zamfara, for example, and it's also slightly different from the conflict in Kaduna. And so I'd like to start by looking at maybe the way we sort of report it, because we've got a few journalists here. The gentleman in the blue, yes, please, if you could give him the mic. How come this conflict on the surface seems to be reported as one conflict, as one large conflict, as opposed to multiple conflicts with nuances and things that are slightly different.
First of all, thank you for inviting
Please
me. My name
yourself.
is Musiki Lumajid. I'm editor-in-chief of Premium Times. You know, the doctor there, the teacher, talked about lack of capacity and, you know, the failure of the media to understand even the conflict as they are. So I quite, you know, in a way agree with him, because when you look at it, even we are not in a position to even investigate. We don't go to the field. Whatever we hear is what we report. Now, how come that we have just agreed that all the attacks are by Fulani herdsmen? Does it mean that all herdsmen in this country are Fulani? Now, there is even a danger, because it means that then criminals can come under and say they are Fulani herdsmen and commit atrocity. So it does appear that there is a lot of work to be done by the media in reporting this conflict, so that, you know, we don't even scale up the conflict in the way we are reporting it. And a lot of people have been raising this issue about the need for the media to scale up its capacity to report conflict. Because, look, if we report and scale up conflict in our country, we all will be in trouble. So the way we've been reporting it is just a reflection of the low capacity with which we report almost all subjects in Nigeria, whether it is the economy, whether it is agriculture. We do superficial reporting. And, you know, you can trace the reason for that deep down to the way
Which
we
in
are
your
trained.
view is what?
What did you say?
You said you can trace the reason. And
You can trace the reasons for poor reporting. Look, even you were trying the other day when you celebrated your birthday to train reporters across the universities. In fact, the universities, poor training of journalists, just like other professionals, and the kind of people we now bring into the industry to now report serious national issues. So with the way we report, then there is also lack of resources. For instance, when the Mambila attack happened, how many newspapers were able to raise resources to travel to Mambila? There are so many things. The Nigerian government itself has not realized that it has to help the media in a way to grow. For instance, the media is just struggling. Elsewhere, they are always fun to help the media to develop. If you have a strong media, a media that is capable, and then it will be able to report well, and then national development will be easier.
Okay, thank you so much. Don't forget, if you are at home, you can take part in this conversation. You can join us on our social media handle, Twitter at Channels TV, at Gadria Ahmed, and the hashtag is NGTheCore. We are also on Facebook and on Channels Forum. Now, on the issue of capacity in particular, one of the noticeable things we noticed once we sort of left the main cities, Makurdi, Jalingo, was the almost total absence of government in communities and the rustic nature of our communities and the fact that people virtually have to do everything for themselves. I'd like to sort of bring in the audience to ask, to what extent do you think this is actually stoking some of the multiple conflicts that we see in this country? Yes.
Total failure of local government.
Thank you. My name is Chido Onuma. I just want to quickly, in response to your question, to say what we see from all of the narrative is the irresponsibility of the state and misgovernance at every level. So the Honorable Minister talked about movement of cattle from as far as Mauritania, for example. You begin to wonder what's the state doing about it. The issue, Chris talked about the issue of security.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're going to take a break, but I promise I'll come back to you straight from the break. Please don't go away.